It will be eliminated. Okay? And the vigor of that elimination is dependent upon the level of antibodies in your serum. Okay? So if your antibody level is high, your anti-A, somebody infuses a little bit of A, boom, it's gone. Just eliminated and lysed. Okay? If your antibody titer, anti-A, is low and somebody gives you some A blood, it will eliminate some of it, but it'll be very low level, okay, and very slowly.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fight won't be
vigorous.
Vigorous. Yes.
Right. And vigorous is not good sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's A blood in there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But your anti-A titer is not real high, and there's not a lot of the blood there. So,
okay.
So that's it. Will be eliminated, but it will be very slowly.
And that was the part in discussions with Dr. Betty and also
Richmond
Tomlinson about that subject of how it's separated. You know, it's centrifuge, but then of course sometimes it's not perfect.
Sometimes we do a pheresis on you to remove the antibodies in your blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a machine.
That would make sense.
Yeah. But if the levels
if the levels were
higher.
risky.
Yeah. We've done that a lot. Okay.
So, but what you're saying you did is you took some of my blood, introduced it to A to see what it was or you just know based on
data.
On the data.
Based on your titer of antibody.
Okay.
Your titer is low.
Okay.
So the response should not be vigorous. And also the other thing is the important cells in there are the stem cells, and those will not be harmed in any way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want that.
Yeah, we want those stem cells, right? Those are the good guys.
And there's a little bit of possibly. I mean, little is relative, but a little bit of platelets, a little bit of hemoglobin.
Yes.
It's kind of a little bit of a dirty solution.
Yes.
But mostly a lot of stem cells.
Actually, most of the cells in there are T lymphocytes.
Okay.
T lymphocytes. Those are white blood cells.
Oh, that's right. That was the other part. They did mention that. Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the cells are T lymphocytes.
Because they're similar.
Yeah,
in
they're
weight,
similar. They're similar in size and buoyancy to stem cells.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Those T cells play a role as well. They help your stem cells find their home and grow. They're like companions, like guardians. If you take out all the T cells, the stem cells have a much harder time growing, and they're finding their niche and growing. Kind of interesting. Huh?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because they've done experiments, and I won't bore you with and give you a lecture or anything, but the T cells in there, they have a good function. They help the stem cells find their place to grow and help them grow, and graft, we call it. T cells also help combat the cancer. Okay? But the T cells also can cause graft versus host disease. I'm sure Dr. Betty's talked to you about that as well, right? And that's why we give you all these medicines, and that's one of the potential complications. So, what studies have done, well, why don't we remove all those T cells out of there? And then we won't have much graft versus host disease. Okay, especially in patients that are at high risk for graft versus host disease. Makes sense, right? So they did that experiment. So they took like a third out, a half out, and all of it out, all the T cells, and just left the stem cells. Infused it in, and the patients that had most of the T cells removed had a real hard time in grafting. The cells wouldn't grow, the stem cells wouldn't grow very well. So then we learned that those T cells are necessary to allow those stem cells to find their home and grow.
And stem cells reproduce.
They reproduce. They produce a brand new bone marrow, an immune system, and all the blood cells. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, so they replicate themselves and
And
everything else having to do with the blood system.
yeah, they're called hematopoietic stem cells because they grow into all the components of the blood. The real remarkable stem cells are called mesenchymal stem cells. Those are the ones from embryos that can grow into every component of the body.
Including
Everything.
whatever that type, the type that is in here, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Pretty neat.
So I was thinking with my brother-in-law, and it's kind of like object-oriented programming. You've got the base class that can then spin off subclasses, which can also spin off other subclasses.
Yeah, there's a lot of subclasses. So, yeah.
Oh.
But every cell of the body has the genetic machinery to make every component of the body. Just whether or not they're turned off or on.
I'm sure somebody's tried to try to build some level a program that emulates.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff that emulates this part. The other part is so...
The function, just...
Yeah, the mesenchymal stem cell is so complicated. It's mind-boggling almost. When you think about just, let's say, the components of, one organ like the kidney. How complicated that is. All the different cell types and different functions.
Mm-hmm.
And then other organs, and then the blood. It's pretty remarkable.
But it can be expressed in math somehow.
Probably, but it is the nuances are. There's a lot of it we still don't understand.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of proteins and genes that have functions that we don't understand.
Yeah.
So we still have to figure a lot out before it can be replicated. You know what I mean?
Just mapping it is enough of a job right now.
Yeah.
Then figuring out the pieces of the puzzle is a whole different thing.
Yeah. Right. So right now we can actually sequence the entire genome of an individual. You can get your sequence too, your whole genes. But it's just determining the function of all of those genes.
So in this case, you just think of, obviously blood is the organ in this case.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all over your body, but changing the blood organ is not going to change the rest of my body's genetic makeup.
No, but it'll change the genetic makeup of your blood and immune system. So you'll be really a chimera. That's why we check for chimerism, to find out when you are fully chimeric. You understand what that means?
Yeah.
Because you'll have genes from
two different. Yeah. You can be born that way, right? Or
you can. It's pretty darn rare.
Yeah.
But it does happen. And in essence, we really are a chimera of our parents.
Yeah.
So, but interesting stuff.
It is.
Anyway, I'll let you get some rest. I usually hang around out here and do some work and make sure there's no problems, okay? If there's any problems, let me know. And I'll see you later today, in fact. Okay?
Yes, and it was midnight or so.
Yes, we started at 15 minutes after.
Okay, well, as promised.
Okay, you have a good evening, okay?
Thanks.
All right.
You too.
I'll see you.
Thank you, Dr. T.
I'm feeling fine.
Sleepy at all?
No.
What nausea or pain?
Sleeping pills keep me awake.
It's probably the steroid.